All right, you guys. So in this video, I'm going to go over this topic because we had a big discussion today. I was teaching a group of guys on forgiveness today, and it was a very, very deep discussion. So here's the question I want to start with you guys. Um, what if, just for the sake of argument, if you come across a person and every time you come across this person, you kind of feel some kind of way about them being in your presence? You get what I'm saying? They have offended you, they have done you wrong, and the burden of forgiveness is on you based on your religious beliefs. And so, therefore, you say, I forgave this person, but every time they come around in your presence, or anytime you have to go visit or do anything around this person, you feel some kind of way about it. Does that mean that you did not forgive them, or is it something different? And this is what we're going to be discussing today. I'll give you some examples to think about. What about a person who cheated on you? What about a person who left the relationship and now you see him down the street with somebody else? What about your ex, whoever, who you had a baby by, and now you got to go pick up your child, and now you got to be around this person? You said I forgave you, but you still feel some kind of way about them. Does that feeling of being around them, not wanting to be bothered with them, does that mean that you did not forgive? Or does it mean something else? Let's get into it. And we got a lot of things to cover. Okay, so let's start. So, guys, here's what I asked the next question. And let's get back to this one. In my opinion, just because you're dealing with the aftermath of what the person did to you, it does not mean that you did not forgive. I can forgive you, and let me give you guys an example, okay? Hold on, let me make my head bigger so you guys can see what I'm saying, okay? I want you to really hear me on this one. I had the discussion with with a group of guys, and I threw out this example. Let's just say that, hey, we're two young kids are playing in a room with a gun, okay? The friend shoots the other person in the leg by accident, okay? By accident. The person says, who got shot, I forgive you. But they're still dealing with the pain of being shot. Now, if we go to the religious community, which again, I'm not trying to strike an argument with you based on your religious beliefs, I'm just making you think. Because this is often, I've heard this said, if you're still feeling some kind of way, that must mean you didn't forgive. So the person got shot in the leg. They're bleeding out, but they say, hey, don't worry about that. Oh, I'm so sorry for shooting. I didn't mean to do it. Oh, don't worry about it. I forgive you. Are they telling the truth that they forgave? Because they're still dealing with the wound. See, the wound is still bleeding. But the spirit in that man said, I forgive you. I don't hold you accountable. Let's get a little deeper. You were in a relationship with this person. You were married to him. You found out they cheated. And they didn't just cheat, they had a baby by somebody else. You said, I forgive you. But we need to part so you can be with your other family. And they say, if you really forgave me, you would stay in this marriage. You say, I forgave you, but I ain't sticking in this marriage because you went outside the what? Covenant of this marriage. And the person says, okay. What if we go to counseling? Can we work it out? Is that not in your choice to make? But what if they gaslight you and say, you a believer of Christ, you're a follower, your religious belief teaches that you should forgive. I did forgive you. But it doesn't remain the fact that I can choose to remain in this relationship or leave. See, forgiveness don't mean you can justify the one you caused me. You can't rush me to feel better. Here's another one I hear all the time. Here's a person cheats or do something outside the bounds of a relationship. The person says, I ask you forgiveness. I forgive you. You guys tried to work it out. You might go to counseling or whatsoever. Then the person starts getting agitated with you because they feel like, you know what? I don't know why you still crying? Why you keep bringing up questions about it? I done already told you You said you forgave me. I do forgive you. However, you left a footprint on my soul. You wounded my soul. And now you're trying to tell me how quickly I can heal from it. You stabbed me in my heart. And now you're coming back and trying to tell me how quickly I should heal from it. Come on now. Is this not the truth? Come on. Okay. In my opinion, they're not the same. I can forgive you. But the process of recovery from the wound the person caused is solely on the person wounded. Now, the other person can do all in their might to try to help you recover, whether you guys remain in a relationship or not, but they can help to ease your burden. But they cannot throw up in your face where you must not have forgave. And I hear this all the time in the religious community. Well, if you still feeling some kind of way about it, you must not have forgave. Let's go deeper. Okay, let's go to the next slide. What does unforgiveness look like for people who may no longer be in your life? Let's give an example. And I was talking about this one. Oh, let me shrink my head. I'm sorry. Let me shrink my head so you guys can see this slide. Slide, baby, slide. All right, here we go. What does unforgiveness look like for those who may no longer be in your life? Let's just say, for the sake of argument, and I brought this one up, and this is very real. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, you grew up with your parent. Let's say your mom. Your mom and dad split. Mom goes with a new guy. Okay, this person molested you when you were growing up, and now you're learning about forgiveness. But this person is no longer there, and you still have some feelings about it. Can you truly forgive a person who is no longer around? Or let's just say you were in a relationship with somebody who did the wrong thing. They mistreated you, they were abusive, and they left. How do you forgive a person who's no longer around? Is it even possible? I think it is. Because as we discussed in the group today, it's a term called unilateral and bilateral. Uni means one, like uno, one. Uni means one. Bi means two, like bilateral, bisexual, bifocals. You get what I'm saying? Bi means dual. It requires participation from two people. Uni means I'm going to make this decision whether they do anything right or wrong, whether they're here or not. I am going to forgive them. Not for their sake, but for my own peace. Because I can't live with this pain. So I'm going to forgive them. And I'm going to have to go through this process of doing it alone. But I'm going to get this done so I can have a healthy life. Let's go to the next slide. I don't want to hold you guys long. Let's go to this next slide. I hope this is helping. Let's go to this one. Ooh, this is a big one here. This was a big one here. Hold on, let me make sure I move myself out of the way. Here's a big one. How do you forgive people who never apologized to you because they saw nothing wrong with what they did to you? This could be an ex-spouse, a family member, a friend, a parent, or even your last boss. How do you forgive a person who never asked for it because they don't see nothing wrong with what they did to you? And no matter how many times you explained it, they see absolutely nothing wrong. I don't see nothing wrong. And they don't see nothing wrong with what they did to you. And you're left in pain. This explains a lot of relationships that we see today. There's a lot of abuse going on, and the abuser sees absolutely nothing wrong with what they're doing. And the burden of forgiveness still lies in your lap. How is that fair? How is it fair? See, I'm asking the tough questions. Why? Because they're not being discussed. They're not being discussed. We're just told forgive. And then if you still feel hurt, we actually condemn you for feeling hurt. And wait till the last slide. It's going to really help a lot of you. It's going to help you. Oftentimes, we're going to have to forgive a person, even if they don't see they're wrong in it. But here's the difference. Let me make my head bigger. I want to make sure you guys see me real good. My forgiveness of you does not mean I need to remain in your presence, especially if you see nothing wrong with what you did. Because if you don't see anything wrong with what you did, that means you think it's all right to do it again. Did you hear what I said? If you don't see what you did to me as wrong at all, and you gaslight me saying it's just me, I can forgive you. But I have to ask myself a question. Do I need to be in this person's presence at all? Should I keep allowing them back into my life? Let me give y'all a real example. Because some of y'all don't believe fat meat is greasy. Let me give y'all a real example. So there was this gentleman who married one of our friends. Okay, this person married our friend, befriended us. We were going out as couples. Then I would take him out to lunch. I got it. Don't worry about spending a dime. I just want to hang out, make sure you feel good because you're new in town. You just married our friend. I just want to be cool. Make sure you have a good time. Don't even worry about it. I got you. When we hanging out, chitter chatting, chatter chitting like we cool, right? Like we cool. He burned bridges with our friend's children. He burned bridges with the new church he had went to. And then he invited me and Nancy out to go on a double date. Well, it wasn't a double date because he invited his daughter. Long story short, he backs out from going. And so Nancy and I said, well, he was the one who invited us, but he ain't going. That's cool. We ain't going to go. Do you know he completely cut me out of his life, blocked my number and everything else, and blamed me and Nancy saying, oh, they should have still went because they should have went with my daughter. What the heezy is you talking about? We should have went with your daughter. You invited us out. And you gonna be pissed because we didn't go out with your wife and daughter and you wasn't gonna be there even though you invited us? Are you freaking kidding me? But I was trying to be the peacemaker, so I reached out to try to find out, okay, maybe it's more to the story. Let me kind of find out. Person is not answering calls, not answering text messages. I'm like, deuces, I ain't tripping. The wife reaches out. Well, and long story short, he left the relationship, got an apartment in another city away from his wife, and then he got sick. Now he's back. Now he's back with his wife. And the wife says, oh, we should all go double dating. No, we ain't. The other day, this is true. Nancy literally said, one day we're going to run into them. Do you know it just happened the other day? We went into this restaurant, and lo and behold, they were coming out the door while we were standing there waiting to be seated. I said, babe, you are so creepy. Because when she say things, it literally happens. Freakish. So I walked up and I said to his wife, who's still our friend, I was like, oh, hey, how you doing, dear? Hey, good to see you, good to see you. And I extended my hand out. He extended his hand out. I shook his hand, and I said nothing else. I didn't say a peeping word to that man. And I continued to talk to the wife. We did our little cha-cha-cha conversation for a few minutes, and they left out the door. Here's the question. Was I wrong for not holding a lengthy conversation with this man who burned bridges with us and never even apologized? And now you show up and now you want to... No. See, you never repented of your doings. I forgave you. I wished you well with our friend and y'all's relationship, but it does not give you authority to come back into my life. Forgiveness is free. And this is what one of our friends said in Bible study today. Forgiveness is free, but trust has to be earned. And that is if I even care for your trust again. And in this situation, you don't have to prove anything to me. I wish you well. I don't need you back in my life. I'm good. See, I don't have to. And I need this to be straightened out because I'm hearing this foolishness around in relationships. I'm hearing this foolishness around in churches where people make you feel guilty if you don't accept the person back, especially when they never even repented. And they make you, the injured party, feel bad about it. Like you doing something wrong for not accepting them back, for like allowing them to come back into your life. Does that mean that you didn't forgive them? No, they're separate things. I did forgive you and I wish you well, but I just don't want you well back in with me in my life, neither in relationship or as a friend or whatever. I do wish you well in your next life, wherever you go. God bless you. It does not give the authority for the person to come back into my life. Come on now. Let's get to the next slide. Let me shrink my head and let's hurry up and finish. Okay, let's get to the next slide. Oh, this is so good. This is some good stuff. Here we go. Here we go. This is good. This is good. What if they don't deserve it? A wounded soul who can bear. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 14 says, the spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity. A spirit of a man has survival instincts. If he gets hurt physically, he'll try to survive. That's the natural instincts of a man. But the Bible says, but a wounded spirit who can bear. When your soul got wounded, you're reeling in pain from what this person did to you. You can't sleep, you don't even feel like eating. And yet the burden of forgiveness is on you. Why? Because I know God told me to forgive this person, but does my forgiveness mean that it's instant relief to my soul? I think not. And anybody who's trying to tell you that is a fool. Wait until they have their turn. Everybody got an opinion until it's their turn. Are you hearing what I'm saying, loved one? Everybody got something to say about your situation until it's them. Forgiveness for your actions does not mean instant healing for my wounded soul. I still got to work through the process. This is why if you're in a relationship with a person who has done wrong in the relationship and they're trying to gaslight you because they're saying you taking too long to heal, hold on. I need to question something. Who give you the authority to stab me in the rib and tell my body how quickly to heal? Come on, people. That's gaslighting. However long it takes for me to heal from the wound you inflicted on me, that time shall be. Now here's the truth. If my timeline don't fit your progress and you don't feel like waiting around, you may be doing me a favor by moving. Hold on, let me make my head big. I want to make sure you see what I'm saying. You may be doing me a favor by moving the heck on then. Because you cannot continuously wound me, or let's just say it was a huge wound. You cannot wound me and tell me when to heal. And if you don't want to participate in the process of my healing, then I need to have questioned your integrity in your apology to me in the first place, if you even gave me one. Number two, I need to question your presence in my life. I need to go to prayer and ask God, is this a person who I need to keep around? Now, I'm not telling you if you're married that you need to get a divorce. You may need to separate and get some space so the person can really reflect on what they're doing. I don't know because I don't know you personally. But in some situations, that may be necessary. You cannot, let me talk to the offender. You cannot wound a person and demand they heal on your timeline. Because think about it. They wouldn't need healing if you didn't wound them. So if you really care about this person like you say you do, it is your job to walk them through the process of healing, no matter how long it takes. And do you know, because of your kindness and your way of showing repentance by, hey, I'm so sorry for what I did to you, however long it takes, I'm here. If they have moments of sadness and tears, grab a tissue and dab their eyes. Not get on their case because they're crying about it. Get over it. What's done is done. See, that's showing cruelness. And then if they leave you, you're going to be the crying person. Come on, let's get to this last slide. Let me get my head small. Get out of the way. Let's do this last slide. This was specifically towards men because men deal with this so often. Okay. And let me move my head up here so y'all can see this one. Men deal with this so often. Okay. Men and women, I'm not saying women don't, but more men deal with, and I was in a Bible study group with men, so this was more tailored to men. I know God forgives. And this actually came up in the discussion. Well, guess what? If God forgave you, you should feel forgiven. But I asked the question, I understand God's forgiveness for me. But does God's forgiveness of me in our relationship, does that equate equally to me in my personal relationship with who? Myself. God, I thank you for forgiving me. But when I look in the mirror, I don't like who I'm looking at. And a lot of men are struggling with this. I appreciate the person who said they forgive me. I appreciate the fact that God forgave me. But how do I deal with the disappointment of me letting me down? Because I knew better than that. And this is why you got a lot of men who are dealing with depression. You got a lot of men who are dealing with alcoholism and other different things going on in their life. And they don't say anything because they don't have anywhere to take their emotional burden to. Because in the world of men, we don't bounce emotional ideas off of each other. In women's circles, quite often they have a girlfriend that can call up, girl, I ain't feeling too well today. Girl, what's going on? And they chatter, chat, chatter, chit. In the world of men, that's not popular. It's not masculine to do so. And so he's continuously falling into the burden of unforgiveness for himself. I can't believe I did something like that. And he's struggling. And he's struggling. And women, let me tell you something. If you're in a relationship with a man like that, the more quiet he gets, the more concerned you should be. I'll repeat that again. The more quiet he gets, the more concerned you should be. Because that means he's inside of his head, trapped. And one of the brothers doing Bible study said today, when we as men do not, and women, it goes for both, but this more dominantly plays out in men's world, but it can be in both. So let's just say it generally. When we do not accept God's forgiveness of us, and possibly the other person as well, when we don't accept the forgiveness, saying that God paid for my sins, He forgave me, now it's paid for, move on with life. What happens is that one of the friends in the group said, God released the debt, you went back and got the debt, and now you just open the doorway for Satan to torment you in your head. I'll repeat the process again. You went to God and said, God, please forgive me. You went to the person, please forgive me. They say, I forgive you. And even if the human said, no, I'll never forgive you, you go to God and God says, yeah, they may never forgive you, but I forgive you. You're still my child. You messed up, but I know you can do better. So let's keep it moving. So God says, I forgive you. But in your earthly world, you go back and get that debt. You say, I can't believe I did that. Man, I'm struggling with this. What you just did was re-grab the debt. And Satan whispers in your ear, yeah, I can't believe you did that either. You no good son of a blah, 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 blah. And you don't even know he's whispering an idea in your head. And you sit there and say, yeah, you're right, man. I can't. Who are you actually talking to? You're not talking to the person. You're not talking to God. You actually are in communication with the whispers of the devil, agreeing with his perspective of you. And you're doing yourself more harm than good, loved one. We as men and women have to learn that if God forgave me, I have to let it go. I used to say LIG that thing. LIG means let it go. I have to learn to let things go. The more we release burdens, which is why, think about it like this, and I'll leave you with this idea and we're done. Okay? Think about it like this. The quicker I release you, the faster my boat floats. The more unforgiveness I put into my boat, the heavier the boat gets and it begins to sink under the weight of my heart and soul and my thought process. When I forgive whoever it is, it keeps my boat empty and it keeps it floating above the water. The more heavier toxins I put into my soul, the more my emotional boat sinks under the water. And this is why you feel depressed and like you're drowning. You got to let it go. You got to let it go. Okay. Anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this Bible study or this little lesson, whatever you want to call it. And I'll be doing more of these down the line. This is first one. I just want to just deal with forgiveness. The next one I'm going to be dealing with soon is, why do people say I'm fighting for my marriage? Is that the right thing to do? And how much have that worked out in our society where we got all these people saying I'm fighting for my marriage, and yet we got 50% of all marriages still ending in divorce? Is that the best approach? I'll see you in the next video.